I know. I would love to say that I go to the gym, I run a mile every day, but I so don't. Nope.
Me neither.
Power to Live More with Joe Dodds.
Welcome to the Power to Live More podcast, all about productivity, organisation, well-being, energy and resilience. I'm Jo Dodds, and I started this show to enable interesting people to share their stories about how they use their power to live more, and by that I mean to do the stuff that they want to do more than the stuff that they need to or should do. It's about creating a life for yourself where you have the energy, health and space to be happy and fulfilled, spending your time as you'd like, whether that be at work, home or somewhere else entirely. That's your choice.
Hello. My name is Ellie Dodds and I'm co-presenter, and today Joe's interviewing Lyndsay Phillips of Smooth Sailing Business Growth. Lyndsay was introduced to us by show guest number 102, Jan Ilunga. Lyndsay is a serial entrepreneur, client-appointed taskmaster, plus project ninja and warrior content marketer for life and business coaches, accountants and other online entrepreneurs across the globe. CEO and founder of Smooth Sailing Business Growth, she leads a rockstar team to support entrepreneurs who are seeking fast-paced business growth but finally have come to the realization that they can't do it alone, do it all, and do it well. She is also the host of Smooth Business Growth podcast, plus Smooth Business Growth Flash on Alexa, and loves sharing practical tips, business building, and content marketing strategies. An expert in all things content marketing, she and her team focus on leveraging content to attract and convert customers faster and build strong relationships along the way. Back to the studio.
Today I'm interviewing Lyndsay Phillips of Smooth Business Growth. Welcome, Lyndsay. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me across the ocean there.
Exactly. Well, but it just shows we have so much in common. You know, we've just been having conversations about what I call a caravan and you call a trailer. You know, we've been talking solar power and living the dream, haven't we?
Exactly.
So start by telling us a bit about who you are and what you do, and crucially, where you do it.
Sure. So I am in Ontario, Canada, and I live in a very rural community. So I'm looking outside to fields and bunnies and groundhogs. And I help clients, coaches, authors do their content marketing. So whether that's blogs, videos, podcasting, sales funnels, email marketing, some web stuff, landing pages, all that good stuff. I help plan and strategize and create and publish and promote and optimize, and anything that has to do with content marketing, we touch.
Lovely. And you, by the sound of it, work from home?
I do, absolutely, yeah. And wouldn't have it any other way.
No, exactly. Or unless it was the trailer, obviously.
Yes, and I have worked there from the trailer, although that is a little trickier with the kids. You're on the computer. What are you doing?
Exactly. So it's interesting. I interviewed somebody else recently about particularly what does she does SEO, and she was talking about how important blogging, for example, has been and is, and that, you know, if she had to do anything, or if she had any regrets, she'd say it was that she didn't create enough content as she was building her business. And I used to do social media marketing. I used to teach people how to use WordPress. I've changed since that, but sort of 10 years ago, that's what I was teaching. And I said to her how I myself sort of thought, oh, it's got a bit, old hat. There's, it's not as important as it was. Now we've got, Facebook advertising and, all that sort of stuff, has its time passed. And she was raving about content. And so now's your time to rave about it too, because that's what you do all the time as well.
I know, and I think it's just layering it, right? And really understanding where your ideal client is hanging out, what do they enjoy to do? Because maybe your ideal client maybe they're not even listening to podcasts. Maybe that's just not their jam. Maybe they're not in LinkedIn. Maybe they love videos. So you naturally want to, do more videos, whether it's live Facebook or, uploading them in YouTube and what have you. But you can't be everywhere. And so come to grips with that. It's all good. But just being really selective and really thinking about your avatar and your ideal client, where they're hanging out, what they like to do. I have one client where they don't read, they read, but they don't have the time, or their lifestyle is that they will not read a long article. They will not read a big fat ebook. It's more like webinars, videos, checklists. So you have to know that, so that you know what type of content to create, so that you're not creating content for the sake of creating content.
Mm-hmm. Somebody I follow talks about, what does she say? She says, sell as you buy. And that sort of translates for her and for me into, I don't do video because I personally hate video. I have not got time to watch video, and as a result I don't watch video. And I've tried to create video stuff over the years thinking, oh, I should, that's what everyone else is doing, I should. And actually, it doesn't suit me. But as you've just said, there will be other people like me and her who are in my target market, and I therefore don't need to do video.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also your comfort levels, right? I mean, there are some things where I was not comfortable being on video. I was not comfortable. I was scared crapless to start a podcast show, but I sucked it up. And the first few were horrible, but I got better. And then I actually enjoyed it. I sort of forgot that other people were going to listen. And then I was having a conversation with somebody else. And now I love them. But I mean, sometimes you do have to get out of your comfort zone in order to, move forward. And video is really important, with Facebook and Facebook's algorithms and all that hoo-ha. But yeah, you also have to play into your own strengths and comfort to some degree.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a bit about how you got into this and why you do what you do. In common with quite a few of my guests recently, you're doing something that you probably didn't imagine you'd be doing when you were at school, because it didn't really exist then, did it?
No, it did not.
So how did you get to where you are, and why do you do it?
I know, my path was a bit weird. I had my own business when I lived in British Columbia, and it was actually exporting trucks to the States for wholesalers, so all the customs and all that stuff, DOT. And then the dollar, went bleh, and so that kind of business depleted. And then I, had small kids. I worked for somebody else in executive positions. And then I was just like, oh, I really, I have more potential. I want to earn more money, and I don't want to answer to somebody else. And just with the small kids, right, I want to be home. I want to, if they're sick, not freak out like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And have days off or afternoons off if I want. So I was like, racked my brain, like, what the heck could I do online? And I connected with a few people. And then I started to do VA work on the side. I was working for another company part-time, making a whopping $11 an hour. And I was not enjoying it. And then the VA stuff and the online stuff, I was like, oh man, the opportunities out there. And I just thought it was really cool and exciting. And then I was juggling both, burning the candles at both ends. And I was like, okay, something's got to give. And so it was like, I'm either all in or I'm not, because I can't continue the way I am. So I took the leap and got a couple of clients and, made way more money than I was making before with the hours that I was doing. And then once my kids were in school, I was able to dedicate full time. And yeah, I just started to get a team into place because, of course, hours equal dollars, and I was kind of capping myself. There's only so much one person can do. Yeah. And then I took a turn that there was some VA stuff that I didn't like doing, and just like, how do I scale my business and grow? And I was just loving content marketing. I was, my clients were getting amazing results, and I love the creative aspect of it. And so scary as it was, I niched down and I said no to people. No, I can't work. You can't be my client because I don't want to do those things anymore. which freaked me out.
Yeah.
But as soon as I did that, I just got a flood of clients. I grew fast. And yeah, I love it.
Excellent. So you've moved from being a one woman
Yes.
organization to working with other people. Tell us how that works for you, because I think that's actually quite a massive transition for most people, isn't it? To go from doing everything yourself and being in control of everything, and then actually, not being in control of everything. How did you go through that transition?
It was hard, man. I am a control freak. And so I tried to find things that I could easily like template or like systematize and teach someone. And then they do a little bit, and then I gain trust, and then, slowly add more on, and then add more on. And you can't release it all at once, right? It's too scary. And so that worked really well. But it even made me realize that things that I did, I needed to document, like the procedures, the steps, do screencasts on how to get it done, so that I had like a foolproof routine and system for doing XYZ, templates and documents. And then once I did that, and it's a lot of work up front, I'm not going to lie, but it is worth it in the long run. And then I was able to hire another person. It's like, okay, I've got a system, it works. Let's teach them how to do it so that I don't have to do it. And just kind of grew from there. I mean, that one point where I grew really fast, a little too fast, and like, oh my God, that was such a hard month. I had so many tears, so much stress. But I realized that my systems had to change because I had more team. I had different things that they were doing. So I had to revamp all my systems. I changed from Basecamp to Teamworks, the project management tool, so that I could better scale and create templated tasks, and due dates and stuff to get better organized. So it's just a matter of getting those systems and templates and instructions in place so that it is, and if someone's sick one day or leaves for whatever reason, that it's easy to have someone else pick that up where they left off.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And so you just touched briefly on project management tools that you're using. Tell us a bit about your systems, because obviously content marketing is like sort of lots of moving parts, and it needs to be quite consistent, doesn't it?
It does. Everything I do is templated. So whether someone has a blog and it's being promoted on social media, or we are doing full podcast production and promotion, all of our, like, you upload a task list. It's all cookie cutter, assigned to who, what the due dates are. The instructions are in there so that you never miss a step because it's all in there. So it's consistent. And Teamworks I love because you can make those templated task lists and projects and, duplicate them, kind of a thing. And you can upload instructions in there. You can set recurring tasks. And it's a way I collaborate with my team. They put stuff in the comments, they tag me, then I can proof, what's in there. And then things just get done tickety-boo. I can easily dive in there and see where my team is at with certain projects, or I have my my business partner, go in there and see how my team is doing. So it is easier to collaborate with people and have different team members in there. No project management system is perfect. There were features that I wish it had, but I'm pretty happy with it.
Mm-hmm. So what does a sort of typical day look like for you now that you are managing a team rather than necessarily doing all the work yourself? You just swanning around?
Every day is... No, I'm not. I wish. No, there are some VIP clients that I have that I'm very high touch in regards to, projects and campaigns that are going on. I still play in Infusionsoft and get some things kind of set up and stuff. But mostly overseeing my team in regards to where we're at with the project. I'll meet with my clients and strategize and plan. I'm typically the touch point with my clients, so email them. I'm obviously in contact with all of my team members to make sure everything's going tickety-boo, proofing content, because I still have that control freaky part of me where it's like I still want to look at it and just double check. So I do that as well. And obviously I'm working on my own business. I was working on some landing pages yesterday for my biz and some of the planning. So it's mixed. Every day is different. And of course, battling the inbox like we all do.
Yeah. So what about tools and apps? What other you've already talked obviously about teamwork. What other tools and apps would you recommend?
I could not be without my Google Calendar. If there's something that I absolutely have to do or else, then I put it in my calendar in green, my appointments in red, so I do color code things. And same with Google Drive, just keeping all the documents organized, especially the client work, campaign asset spreadsheets, and collaborating with the team, proofing them, editing things. I could not be without Google Drive. I can't even imagine. Teamworks, of course, and Jing, TechSmith, whatever you want to call it, but screencasts. Some people use Loom. Loom, is that? Yeah. But being able to do videos of sharing my screen to explain something for one of my team members, or even, because sometimes typing, it's hard to get your concepts out, right? So sometimes I do screencasts for my clients to kind of give them project updates or kind of share some ideas. I find it much more efficient than always having meetings because they can drag on. And yeah, it just kind of gets to the point and gets things done quicker.
Yeah, I'd do that, apart from the fact that I don't like video. No.
Well, this is my they can see my screen and hear me, but they don't see me.
Yeah, now I do have to admit to procrastinating on those videos for my VAs as well, which is why they keep saying, what can we do next? I'm like, hang on, I've got to get a process in place for you. But it's probably more about the fact that I've got to record them a video.
God, I probably do at least 4 a day, I swear. Because sometimes it's just easier to talk something out, right? And and you have only 5 minutes in a screencast, so you're forced to be concise.
Oh, you see, that's where it'd all go horribly wrong for me. So what about keeping yourself full of energy for running this business? What sort of things do you do around the sort of self-care piece?
I drink a lot of wine.
I thought you were going to say water then. I was about to say, that's really good.
After
I drink a lot of wine too.
I do have some time to myself in the morning, and I need that quiet peace to clear my head, which I really love. And I keep my hours are important. So 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm typically done, because then it's kids time, right? So, and I was able to position things where I hardly work evenings anymore, unless there's, I'm going away and I got to get some stuff done before I leave. Because otherwise it's too much. I can't sleep. I need my sleep, man. And just when I'm not working, I'm have a lot of fun with my friends and family and enjoy my deck and go camping. And yes, I do drink the wine.
But as you say, only, in the evenings, not all day.
No.
So, you said sleep is important. Is it something that you find easy to do? I just interviewed somebody earlier who said that she didn't used to have many hobbies and sleeping was her main hobby, and she just could sleep all the time. Not something I've ever been very good at, but is that something that, do you have rituals and routines to enable that to happen? Or I guess have you got young children? What sort of age are they?
Yeah, they are 10 and 13. So
they don't wake you up too early.
No, thank God. I know. As soon as they were 6 and they were able to get their own bowl of cereal, I was like, yes, victory. But no, I need my sleep. I read a lot at the end of the day, just to clear my head. And I usually don't have a problem sleeping. I'm usually out like a light. But I need 8 hours. If I don't get 8 hours and I like have a few nights where I don't sleep well, I'm a wreck.
Yes, yeah. There's so much research nowadays about how important sleep is, isn't there? I was reading one of my friends shared about how teenagers are really struggling because they start school too early and they need more sleep, and quite often they sleep late, go to sleep late and get up late, which is
I know, bad habits.
Yeah,
or they're messing out on their devices. Yeah, my kids are not allowed to have their devices up in the room when they go to bed.
But just how important sleep is, but how in some ways we don't really set society up for that to happen. Certainly, at that, such an important age.
Because you're pushed to get more done in a day, right?
Yeah. So relaxing. You've talked a bit about camping. You've talked about sleeping and drinking wine. Anything else that you do? Although that all sounds great to me.
I know. I would love to say that I go to the gym, I run a mile every day, but I so don't.
Nope. Me neither.
We do eat healthy. So we've been cutting down the carbs and, do our best to, I don't buy processed food. So I'll say that helps.
Yes. Yeah.
Body well.
Yeah. So let's go back talking a bit about the content marketing. What sort of top tips have you got for home-based coaches and consultants for the sorts of things that they should be thinking about? We've already said it's about their audience and being clear about where their audience are hanging out and creating content for that. What else would you say?
I would say a mistake that a lot of people do is that they're focusing on what they have. Like, I've got this course and it can help you do this, this, and this. Or I've got, an event coming up. And they're sort of focused on what their services are instead of being focused on what their avatar's pain points are. So like for me, like one of the bigger pain points that a lot of my clients have or come to me about is that they have a hard time doing their content marketing and getting it out consistently. It's usually sporadic. So, I share tips of or share stories of been there, done that. I still battle it every now and then, but, and tips on how to systematize and get in a ritual and starting with one thing and doing it well and then building on it. So, I've got my social media roadmap that's on my website. So I do talk about those kinds of things, or, just thinking about what is it that they struggle with on a daily, weekly, monthly basis and leading with that. And then it's give them some tips and solutions and then your offer. So you have to go in on it on that angle versus leading with what you're offering. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It reminds me of Lisa Sasafich always used to talk about you're selling the destination, not the plane, because there is a tendency to talk about, how it's delivered rather than what you actually get as a result of it.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I love Lisa Sasafich. Yeah. And then it's just, you have to be consistent. I mean, some people think it's a nice to have and not a need to have, but you do need it. I mean, imagine, and I've been there, I've needed an accountant or looking for a yoga company or whatever it may be. I check out their website and I'm like, all right, that's cool. But then I do always go to their Facebook. And then if their imagery on their Facebook, like their banner and their picture, doesn't match their website, I'm like, what? It's just kind of confusing. And then if their posts are they haven't done a post in 2 to 3 weeks, then I'm like, are they going to be around if I have a problem? Are they reliable? Are they successful? These thoughts run through your head, right? Or if all the posts are all promo stuff, oh, look what I have, look what you can buy, then I'm like, meh, they're just in it for the money. They don't care about me.
Yeah. So consistency is really key. What tips do you have for people to be consistent. And somebody put on my LinkedIn this week, because I share quite a lot of content that I read, articles that I read, and he said, wow, you read so much, how do you read all of this? And I thought, well, actually, I don't feel like I read enough, but I have a process. So I save all my articles in Pocket. I tag them, and then they automatically go to my Buffer account, and then they go out. So I'm not doing it individually enough, and I know that, but I am actually doing it. So consistently content is going out, because I have batches of time where I do a lot of reading, tag a load of stuff, and then it all gets added to a queue, and out it goes. So it's not perfect, but it is consistent. And I think for me that's what I need to do. I need to have a process, and I need to make it easy, otherwise it won't happen. But clearly he picked up on it, thinking that I was producing loads of interesting content, and really that it was just, it was obviously the intention I wanted him to have. It was what the end result I wanted him to have, but I'm not actually making lots of effort to do that. It's just that I've got this process. So what do you recommend from a consistency point of view? Obviously it depends on the platform and depends on the type of business, but what sort of ways can people be consistent with what they're doing?
I think one of the biggest things is people don't realize that they can take one piece of content, multiply it, and pick little pieces out and rearrange it. So you're not having to reinvent the wheel every week. Like even if you're putting out a blog a week, and then you can make a video of that exact same blog, or even 2 videos. People are not going to notice. You can do a podcast episode of you talking of that thing. You can, you're obviously going to share the blog. So there's like 4 posts right there. You can take, I call them snackable bites, but like if your blog explains, the 7 best ways to travel, then you could easily pull out each of those 7 things and make a statement or a statistic or a quote, and then have a nice picture to go with it. So you're extracting little pieces of it out, and there's like another 5 posts. And then if you do a video of it, there, share that 5 times, and then, share someone else, like you do, share someone else's information 3 times a week. Boom, you're done. And if you just plan that, okay, I'm going to write 4 blogs or contract it out, whatever, once, the first week of every month. And then next week, make all the extra posts and the graphics, get someone to pre-schedule it for you the week after. Boom, you're done. If you schedule those chunks of time in your calendar, then it's not so, you're not going from week to week and you're not stumped and freaked out.
No, really good advice there. Thank you. So what about your own learning and development? You're obviously creating content for people. Are you consuming it?
Yes, I do belong to a coaching program, so there's tons of awesome information in there that pertains to me and where I'm at in my business. I do, of course, subscribe to a ton of marketers so that I can also see what they're doing, some of their approaches. I love Frank Kern, Brendan Burchard, Russ Ruffino, Dean Graziosi. So there's tons of marketers out there that I'm like, I'll see a campaign and sign up, and I'm like, oh, I love what he did on the thank you page. That's a really smart approach. So kind of seeing what they're doing, because clearly they're successful and making millions. So that I find really useful. Social media marketing, you know who I mean, right? I can't think of their name. Examiner, that's the word.
Examiner.
Thank you. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I subscribe to them, and then if something grabs my attention, I'll read it. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. So I do subscribe to, because I don't necessarily have the time to like go out there and find stuff. So I just subscribe and let it come to my inbox. And then, I'll pick up on things. Or sometimes I'll like see something and I'll tell one of my team members, hey, this looks intriguing. Go research it and then come back to me with information so I can see if I want to use that moving forward.
Yeah, there is just so much out there, isn't there? And
gosh.
We're saying how important content is. Well, there is tons of it, but it's finding those trusted sources, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Lovely. So last couple of questions. Firstly, what happens when it all goes horribly wrong? When you have a bad day, how do you deal with that?
I drink more wine.
Yeah, good one. I do that too.
Yeah, some days, all hell does break loose and you're like, yeah. I do have a couple of close friends that, live elsewhere, and we text, we message, it's like, or we'll call, right? Oh my gosh, this is going wrong. Do you have any, help to fix it? You need to have people that are also entrepreneurs that have gone through the same thing. And of course, there's, the coaching mastermind group that I'm a part of. I message in the Facebook group and ask questions to, get some feedback. And some days just suck. And, you just got to I'm going to wake up the next day and, go like gangbusters. But I'm very solution oriented. So if something is not right, I'm like, okay, I just have to calmly think, what can I do to fix it now? And then also, what can I do to change things for the future? Is it a system I need to change? Is it expectations of my client or my team members that I need to change? What is it that needs to be adjusted so that this doesn't come up again?
Yes. Yeah. Good point. And then those days where you get to live more, where you get to do more of the things that you want to do and less of the things that you feel you should do or you have to do. What do those days look like for you?
Camping. This summer we've been camping so many times already. I'm going away again with friends on Saturday. I have to unplug, and I love being outside, especially in the summer in Canada. It feels like it's too short. And so, I just love being outside, hanging out with friends and being social.
Yeah. No, me too. See, it's not just the wine. The camping's good too.
Exactly.
And even better, camping and wine.
And you're made in the shade.
Lovely. It's been great speaking to you, Lyndsay. Tell people how they can find out more about you and how they can connect with you.
For sure. So if they go to smoothbusinessgrowth.com, there's, of course, a Start Here page and a contact page. And I do have a 20-minute free consultation. So if anyone wants to know how I can support them in their business growth and take more off their plate, I'm here for you.
Lovely. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. It was awesome.
All this information is available in the show notes, which you can get to if you go to powertolivemore.com/, in this case, 122. And my intention this week was to draw your attention to a post that I put on the website, which is all about work-life integration and gives you some tips to think about in terms of integrating your work and life so that you are well and stress-free. I've recorded this about 8 times so far, so I'm going to give up now. I'm not going to explain what the blog post's about or give you any further hints about it. I will just say, please do hop over to powertolivemore.com and have a look at the blog and read the article and see what you think. And if you've got any thoughts, please do share them with me, joe@powertolivemore.com. Again, the show notes are at powertolivemore.com/122, and we look forward to speaking to you next week.
Use your power to live more.